Welcome to the Village of Buchanan Board Meeting, the Trustees Board Meeting of August 6th, believe it or not, 2024. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. Okay, first thing on the agenda, the minutes of June 4th, Village Board Meeting, June 25th, Village Board Workshop, and July 2nd, 2024 Village Board Meeting. Are there any corrections or comments on any of those minutes?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm okay.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to approve those minutes. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. The next is comments from the floor, agenda items only. Okay, under new business, I am going to ask Alfred Roush from Buchanan Fire Department, Buchanan Engine, to come up and to say a few words.
Thank you, board, for having us. We received a grant for $20,000 from Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg. That is to update our rescue tools, which means we are updating our Jaws of Life system with this money. Our Jaws of Life system is 15 years old. We're going from hydraulic system to battery operated, so there is no cords to the newer apparatus. So it's actually a movability, moving, getting around, no cords are attached. So it's going to help us tremendously.
Okay.
So thank you very much. I know you were there, so thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. And thank you to Assemblywoman Levenberg for
Yes.
the grant. And it's much appreciated. The board appreciates the Buchanan Engine getting grants for different things that you need.
Working on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you
for coming in. Have a good night. Okay, under new business, I had the opportunity to speak to the DEC and also the state. So I wanted to let everyone know at the same time. We talked about the money that is in the Entergy Fund, and what they're waiting for now is the WIA grant that was applied for and the WQIP grant to see if we get any money from that. Then they're willing to have a conversation with us the end of the year about the Entergy money. So they're looking more to see what we can get, to see how it gets matched out of the Entergy money. So the end of the year, we'll all be having a conversation with them about how we can use that money. I asked for the extension of the WQIP grant that was granted in 2021. And they said, yes, there could be an extension because that grant goes from, the monies go from 5/2021 to 5/2026. And George has been working on the grant. He's been doing a lot of work with the DEC and in reference to this grant. So that's why I wanted George here this evening to go over and give everybody an update of where we are with everything.
Sure.
So thank you, George.
No problem. So, as the mayor had mentioned, the first WQIP grant, we requested an extension, and part of that extension and part of that work is to provide a work plan. We provide them a work plan that describes that we're doing this in 2 phases, which is something that they recommended to us so we can get the second grant. So the work phase or the work plan has to reflect phase 1. The current application that we sent in for the WQIP and the WIA, they talk about phase 2. So in working with Jim Thacker, he has a nice little write-up in one of his sections that talks about the money and the costs and how it's all broken down. And so the phase 1 is broken down to roughly $6.5 million. Phase 2 is 4.8. And then we threw in there the Albany Post Road Pump Station. The reason we put that in there is because it's resiliency, and resiliency is a big thing for the DEC. So that pushed our numbers up from the previous grant to this one. We also threw in the work on Route 9A. Again, we tied that into the plant as part of upgrades and needed upgrades. So we tried to throw as much as we could into the grant. We can always scale that back later on. So That's the goal. Ask for as much as you can, and hopefully you can move
See
forward
what you
with your
get.
complete project and see what you get. If depending on how they view our grants and how they look at them, hopefully we'll move forward with our complete project. If not, we'll have to do a modification, as the mayor said, at the end of the year. So it all depends. If we get the WQIP grant, but not the WIA grant, or if we get the WIA grant, not the WQIP grant, and they're going to work with us, they said. And we had some positive discussions about what wording to put in there, how to make it organized and whatnot. So you look at the latest grant, it went from 140 to about 170 pages. So we fluffed it up even more.
Yeah, they're good for paperwork, that's for sure.
But there's a nice short summary that's on page, goes from like 122 to 123. So if you get a chance to read that, that's
All right, if somebody could get the board a copy of that so that we could all read that.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah.
George, I got a question for you on that.
Shoot.
The money that's needed to do what we originally planned to do, okay, which we pushed for the IMA with the town. That money, how much is that original cost? That was the $6.5 million for the upgrade of the existing plant. I mean, I'm just going back because my memory has gone a little bit from all those numbers we talked about.
Yeah, so it did go up. So why did it go up? So it went up for two reasons. We added the Albany Post Road pump station. We added Route 9A. That was a small percentage of it. And then there's cost increase. So year over year, usually you have a 2 or 3% increase. In the last 3 years, we've been seeing more of a 20% increase.
Oh, absolutely. I understand.
So that's basically where the numbers are at. And then there's some soft costs, and we put in generic lines for that. You know, the DEC and the DEP and all these grants, they look for, you know, between 10 and 15% for soft costs. So you just put that number in there, and that's so as the amount goes up, so does that. But it's not a real reflection of what those costs are actually going to be. They could be less. A lot of the work has been done already. We submitted to the DEC. We submitted to the DOH. We have to resubmit. Our plan hasn't changed that much, that drastically. We did add some things that weren't one item that wasn't in the original that we had. We had a roof structure for our blower system outside. We put walls around it. So we boosted that up a little bit. We did a few little things like that, and that's where we're at. So,
and being that we did finalize the IMA with the town, I mean that trunk line at Albany Post Road pump station, that trunk line that's sagging, all of that should come into play. I mean, with trying to get our grants, you know, we should add that in as well. I mean, that was a big component of why we did it.
We did, and that trunk line. So part of the trunk line that with the sag is kind of it's in the same location, but it's next to it. So it's coming around the corner from Tate, around from the parking lot, going down 9A. The part that's connected to court, we don't really know what project they have as of late. They sent us an email a month or two ago, and we responded to that. And we said, "Do you have a project?" And they said,
Yeah, I mean, regardless if they do a project or not,
Right.
they kind of force us into a position to sign an IMA. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And we want to utilize that as our strength.
Correct.
They're saying, "Listen, we did this. This was part of
Correct.
why we needed the money and how we were going to get the money.
Correct.
So it should propel us into getting a lot of this done."
Correct. Absolutely. And then as part of the process, we also increased our capacity from 500,000 to 250, so that we could not only give some capacity to Portland, but as Entergy gets developed, that land gets developed, we have that additional capacity to work with, and as we address our inflow and our infiltration. So,
Yeah, I just brought it up because we did spend a lot of time on that IMA, and the public needs to know
we did.
that we are moving forward.
Yes.
You know, it's been very quiet about that. So
yes, we spent probably over a year back and forth at least with the town to make that all happen. So there, that time lag in there, you say, well, what happened? Well, there was a lot of negotiations that happened, in that time frame. And that plays in part, that negotiation, that capacity, what we're doing now. It's a complicated project now. That's made it complicated, but I think we're in a good place. So hopefully the DEC sees it that way too.
So
That's what I'm hoping for. They see that it's all productive.
It's all productive.
Yeah.
I mean, the conversation's been productive. So I got an email today from one of the DEC folks that we met with way back when this all started, and they said, thanks for the update, keep us posted. So they seem positive about what we're doing. So
hopefully. So what I wanted to ask you, did you get the approval from the DEC to go to the 750, the increase in capacity of the sewer treatment plant, or is that still in process?
Again, that's part of the process. We talked to the DEC just recently. They're technical people they sent us some comments. They said one of the things was we need to give them, they wanted to know what the funding was. We said, well, the funding is the grants. So they don't want to give you an increase if you can't pay for it. So that's part of the issue too. So they have a lot of catch-22s in their system. And so we told them, we applied for 2 grants. We have one that we've already received. They said, oh, we understand that. And then there's a whole battery of testing that we have to do. And we asked them, well, in that battery of testing, we were asking about single samples and multiple samples. And they said, well, for averages, you need 3 for an average. And that makes a big difference because a battery of tests, what they want is pretty large, and that could be $1,000. It's the difference between 1,000 or 3,000. So we give them that. And there was 1 or 2 other things that we have to measure out in Lens Cove. We're going to talk to Bob about getting a boat and measure the depth of our outlet. And I think that's pretty much it.
You going on that boat, Bob?
Maybe.
So they want us to confirm. So they've done their models. So what they have is a diffusion model. So when you go out into the Hudson River, the effluent disperses, and they want to know what's the dispersion rate. So they have a model. The DEC has their own model. They want it, and part of the data is to enter the height from the top of the water to the top of the pipe, and then the invert of the pipe. So that's part of their model. So they want to confirm that before they run their model. So some information like that they're looking for. So, but the biggest thing is money. So
yeah, it's always money. So the original, I think, cost, I know Anthony alluded to it, was, I believe when you started back a way ago, was 5.8 million. And you're for the original
6.8, somewhere around there. And then now we're up to 12. And then, like we said, we've added the pump station and the work along Albany Post Road.
So that's included in the 12 million?
That's included in the 12. So when you read the grant, so in the WIA grant, all 4 projects are spelled out. If you look at the WQIP, the line inside along 9A, that's included in the treatment plant. That's included in phase 1.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And that's, again, this is all strategy for getting the money. So you got to organize and strategize your phases and whatnot. So,
okay.
Hopefully the DEC sees we've been responsive to them and we give them everything they want. So, and they hold the money. So we always say that they have the money. So the more conversations you have, the more you talk to them, the better. So
they, the problem is with these grants, it's like the Hunger Games. Everyone, there's a lot of communities that need money for water treatment and waters, different kinds of water filtration. And so unfortunately it's all lumped under this, and it can be the Hunger Games, but,
and there's, 300 applications for 62 counties in the state. So it's a lot. So and they spread it out. They spread it out among all the counties. They try to, at least. So
we'll hope for the best.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
While you're here, did you want to go into the other things that you wanted to discuss?
So the
I know it's a little out of order, but since you're here.
So roads 2024, we met with the contractor this week. And we talked to them about when they're going to start, and they can start in 2 weeks. They want to start on Seward, Shed, Sunnyside. They want to start up there because it's essentially milling and paving, and they want to get it done before school. So they want to do that work first. And they've been responsive since we sent them the award letter. The only thing is we need their bonds, insurance, and we need to sign contracts with them. So, but they're ready, willing, and able to start, and they want to beat the school before they go. So they think they're going to be up there for about 2 weeks, and then they're going to come down here. And then we have some water valve work that's going along Tate Avenue. We need two water valves replaced. One of them is in the immediate area of where we're doing work. The other one's towards the intersection where the Shell station is there. That one is going to happen later on because it's in the DOT right away. It's a little more complicated. That's for the roads. And then the 2023 road projects, we're pretty much done with everything there, except for some driveways on Lake. And we asked them for another price to do work on White Street. So we're asking the new contractor to give us a price for some work that was a change order for White Street. So maybe the new contractor will do it a little better. So,
So Westchester Hills, is that release work from them? That's from the old
it's
contract?
it's a change order from Westchester.
Oh, it's a change
yes.
order. Okay.
So they gave us a price to do it, and we spoke to Marcus, and Marcus said, well, why don't we have the new guy give us a price and see which one's better? So
Yeah, that scope of work they have to get sewer done before school opens. It's just, that's it's a good way to look at it and get them started because tell them to push their bonding in there and get it rolling.
We will, and they've already have the time slot, so it's just a matter of the bonds and the insurance.
Yeah, that'd be terrible to try and pull that during school. So
That's a busy
yeah,
street.
apparently they come out of there during the school year and
Well, they go
around.
into like the
go
back
around.
area. It's a mess by Rockledge there. So that'd be good to have them out of the way.
And then the crack ceiling guy, he said, what did he say? He was going to start soon.
Doesn't have a timeline yet.
Was that the?
They say they have a timeline.
Yeah, totally. And then the sewer lining, we were talking to a sewer lining contractor today. So that work, we just talked about the 9A corridor. They're going to be doing work towards the Carbone site there. They were guy went out there today. One of the prospective contractors went out there today and said that work will probably have to be at night because his operation is probably going to shut down the Dunkin' Donuts to get up through there and through that easement area. So he said be prepared for that and let everybody know. So
that's DOT right away, right?
So part of it comes up the DOT from White Street up to Craft, and it keeps going up, and then it diverges in front of the hardware store, and then it goes back behind Dunkin' Donuts and goes through an easement that's behind Carbone, the Carbone project. So those bids will be received in August 22nd, and we also gave Marcus some bids on the gates, right, for the forestry.
Items that we got. From the last meeting, there was some additional items we want to talk about, which was the staircase back here, the painting of the DPW garage. Scott is here too to catch any questions. The gate down on 4th Street, and painting the pavilion. So Joyce can give you an update on that, and Scott is here to answer any questions as well.
So yeah,
Whatever order you want to take it.
the DPW guys went down and they worked on the gate as best they could to straighten it out, make it better. But you do have some bids. The lowest one was $5,000. So if they straightened it out and you're
If you want to go take a look at it, Todd said the gate works just fine. It was a little bent out of place. Scott and Todd guys straightened it out as much as they could. We could put different slats in it to make it look better, but the gate works and it's fine. If the board wants to spend $6,000 to replace the gates, that's fine as well, but whatever the board wants to do.
I looked at it today and it, night and day difference. Just maybe if they could put those little slats in and it would, we have people that live there, so.
What damaged it? Do we know?
Yeah, that's a good question. We haven't figured that out. We don't know if it's the snow plowing operation, regular use, or wear and tear, opening and close. Who knows? We don't know.
Age. Been
Age.
there forever.
They've been there for a long
Original
time.
gates.
Yeah.
Oh, it is the original. So when they did the construction, they didn't.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a new gate. I was like, why did it
No.
have damage so quickly?
No.
Well, then maybe we should put a new gate in there. I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
No. So yeah, the low one was $5,000. It's up to you. So.
Take a look at it, see what
Yeah.
you guys want to do, it's fine.
I agree with Anthony. I think that those should have been done when we had that project done. For the money we put there for a few $1,000s more to fix this fence around there.
Well,
I know a lot of neighbors weren't happy about it.
I think the thought process at the time was the contractor gave us a price and it was like $20,000 and we said, oh, no, we don't want to spend that kind of money for a gate. So we said, oh, no. So I think we straightened it up back then and over time it got the way it was and it was crooked away. Maybe it's the snow plowing, maybe it's, when they come in there to clean, Cook comes in there to clean and do stuff. So I don't know, we don't know. So.
But if you want to take a look, at least we can start with these slats. Maybe the slats will make it look better, or we can replace the gate. So whatever.
Well, whatever aesthetically looks
Yeah.
right. It's a
Yeah.
good neighbor. I mean, it's a neighborhood. It's a tight neighborhood
Yeah.
down there. It has to look
We
right.
should get some prices and see what's going to cost us to do it.
It's
Well, he's got-
$5,700.
$5,700?
$5,700.
That's just the gates or the whole fence?
That's for 2 new posts, the gates and the slats.
Not the front fence?
Not the front fence.
Not the
Just the gates.
Just the
Just the
gates, just the gates. Yeah. So
How much more would it cost to do the whole front?
Well,
The gates are like a quarter. of
One
it.
side was done.
yeah, the left
side-
side was
yeah.
done because they were doing the construction on that
Right.
side,
Yeah,
so they
take
had
that
to
down.
replace it.
Yeah, I remember that.
So they brought that up to the gate, and we said, "Well, how much to do the gates?" He said, $20,000, and then I think we got a price to do the whole thing, which was like $40,000
Correct.
or $50,000. So it was
Yeah.
an outrageous amount of money.
Yeah. Me personally, I don't even know why we're talking about it. I think we should just do the gates.
Okay. Well, thank
You
you
know?
for
Okay.
getting the price.
Yeah.
So
I
at
think
least
it's a
we
good
know.
price. I mean, you go from
Yeah.
20 to 5. I think we should talk about it a little bit more.
The bargain. Well, we
Wanna do it?
can make a decision now. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with
Let's
getting
do it.
the new gates there and the new, Anthony's okay, Bob's okay.
Personally, I'd like to see maybe if we can do the whole front of it, this facing all of 4th Street. I mean, these homeowners right there have been looking at that gate and fence area like that for a long time. It's not pretty.
Yeah, there's a
Really
lot of
should be dressed up a little bit.
yeah,
Right there.
there's a lot of
Overgrowth.
yeah, well, the brush and the trees are right up against the
Yeah.
fence, so
Yeah.
that's why we kind of stopped
And-
it there. And then now you got to trim the trees and start looking at that.
And I think when Cook comes to clean, one of our guys should open and close the gate. So we know who's responsible for the
Condition of it.
the
Yeah.
condition of it because, you can't leave it up to them.
So we can replace the gates for now, then we'll look at the rest of the fence and come back with a price for the rest of the fence. And
Absolutely.
we can
Okay.
get the gates done.
That makes
So,
sense.
Okay.
Sounds
good.
Okay. Good.
I'm okay.
George, is there any way, or is it a security thing, that there can be some shrubs put in front of the fencing to like hide it?
So there is some shrubs.
I thought
the-
I thought that was the whole thing with the county, they want to be able to see inside for police protection. They want to be able to see inside. I remember that discussion when we were with the county.
There was that discussion. They said you want to do it in a way that you can't obstruct your view in there. So they're not opposed to planting. You just got to do it in such a way that you're not.
Well, what are the slats going to do then?
Well, the slats are just for the gate itself.
You're right.
So
That's what's,
they're not for the whole
That's the whole
thing. They're
fence.
just for the.
So the idea of the cops are driving by, they can look in and
Quickly.
there's nobody in there.
So the guy can just jump behind the gate and hide.
It could-
And get back out and do his thing.
well, if you spaced out some arborvitae's in front there or something as they grow in. And
Nice.
So that's we probably should look at what's out there now as far as the trees because they're overgrown and whatnot, and there were arborvitae's and they're kind of overgrown and they're kind of scattered. So we might have to take them down, replant, and then to the left we didn't put anything back. So to the right there is something. To the left there's nothing at all.
Yeah, I like that idea. Space some shrubs in front of it. I
just
think
do a natural barrier. I think it's a good idea as well.
Okay.
That's been looking rough since the construction there
How long ago was that?
About 3 or 4 years.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
The
remember.
fence was in bad shape since.
Yeah, and I remember it being an issue when
Yeah.
the thing didn't get replaced.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got for us, Mr. George?
So-
Been
so-
busy.
The fire escape, I'm sorry. The fire escape in the back, we were looking for more estimates at the last meeting. We had one, was the 37,500 from one of the, we reached out to a couple other contractors. We haven't gotten any responses back. I know Scott had mentioned that this is pretty tedious work. You got to go in there, you got to get in the grills, you got to scrape out the rust, and it's labor intensive was the bottom line. But we'd still like to get more prices, or we're at 37,000. The procurement is 35,
Mhm.
so we could go out to bid with it and try to get contractors that way as well, rather than just reaching out and calling people.
I think that's the only way you're going to get it.
Maybe, yeah.
If you put it out on a bid.
Put it out on the street and
It's over 35,000 we have to make.
yeah. So that one was 2,000 over anyway. So who knows if the low guy comes in below, at least you bid it and you went through the process. So it doesn't hurt you either way. But we can put that out to bid.
Do you remember the last time that was
Painted.
before
Bob?
you?
Help me.
Bob's
Yeah.
I don't know, Scott.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
1976 probably when the building was done.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You might be right.
Yeah.
I bet you. It's been that color. It's never been any other color.
I don't remember being done sidewalk there.
Good.
It's been a few years.
So we'll go bid on that.
Escape.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
And then there was the painting down at the pavilion. We did reach out to a contractor. He gave us a price just to do the steel. He gave us an estimate of $261,500. If you want to add the underside of the building, of the roof, it's another 130. Again, it's one number, one person. You got to go out to bid to kind of figure out what the real number is. It's just a matter of, do you just want to do the steel or you want to do everything at once?
So when you're talking about the steel, are you talking the supports underneath the pavilion itself?
Correct. So
The
the
beams.
columns that go up, the beams that go around, and
That's
yeah,
it.
the beams. So the beams, the columns and beams.
Because the one for the underside, 130,000.
So the 130 is just a roof,
Underneath, right?
just
Yeah.
a roof.
Okay.
George, just from my understanding,
It's a lot of
are
money.
all these projects going to happen at the same time, or we will prioritize? How will that happen?
So the lining, the sewer lining, that'll happen in about a week. That'll be in the fall. The roads, 2024, that'll be in the next couple of weeks.
But I'm sorry, I just want to start with our finances. The lining is budgeted for, the money's set aside for that.
Okay,
The paving, money's been set aside for that.
all
The
right.
items we're talking about right now, we have not discussed budgeting. So,
All right, but that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, so-
We're throwing all these things that have to get
Correct.
done. My question is are we prioritizing, or are they going to happen at the same time?
Staircase and the pavilion.
Yeah,
From your point of view, which was more pressing?
yeah. What
Oh,
would be the priority in your opinion?
That's hard to say. It seems like the staircase, well, the gates are small items, so that's a $5,000. So that in the scheme of the budget is
Yeah, was
not,
Mhm.
so the staircase, that's 37,000. So the pavilion, I mean, they both need some attention. Those seem to be the only two projects that we're talking, one over the other.
And if we're going to do anything, the weather is going to be starting to run against us. But that gets into, and the board will discuss this in a minute, Senator Harkin's grant too. I don't know what the board's desire is to do with that, but
Well, we've got Scott here, so
Yeah.
Scott, you have an opinion one way or the other as to, which of these projects would take priority?
George, as an engineer,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
any of the steel integrity jeopardized
Good question.
Um,
On either one.
on either one?
On either one. So, I mean, rust is never a good thing. So we looked at the staircase. Scotty gave us some pictures. And as he mentioned, it's not going to fall down tomorrow, but it needs attention before it gets worse. The longer you wait, obviously, the worse it gets, right? So, if the fire escape waited till next year, is that the end of the world? Fine. It's not going to increase the cost from 37 to 137. It's not going to jump
And
crazy.
if I may, from the financial side of view, if it's 37,000 on going to bid, we can afford it. We have the money in contingency. That's I don't think it's a problem. I think the bigger issue is the pavilion.
Yeah,
Is how-
that's a big number.
Yeah, it's a
how
big
they able to
number.
afford that aspect of it.
Mhm.
So I think if the village board wants to move forward with the staircase, financially, I can tell you right now, we can do it.
Okay.
Okay, or you could look at it a different way. There's Harkham's money, 100,000, 37,000 if we have that in the contingency. So it's kind of up to the board. I think the board needs to prioritize what they would like to see done first. And I know Anthony has had a discussion about doing it in-house also. And I know Scott has commented on that. And so it's kind of like, do you do the fire escape first? Do you do the pavilion first? Do you use grant money and then add on the contingency money to do the pavilion? So these are decisions the board will have to make. Scott, what would you like to say?
Well, as far as priority, I think whatever you guys want, what is your priority? And as far as the safety of the fire escape in the pavilion, I'm not really sure. I mean, to my eye, the pavilion beams don't look that bad, but that doesn't mean they're fine. I mean, I'm not really schooled in that, so, but I don't know how unsafe they actually are. So
I can go back to the fire escape. It's sound. It's surface rust at this point. I've seen worse. A lot.
The function of it works.
It works fine.
It functions fine.
It's 2-3 years ago. We had it all bolted back up, connected to the building. We're looking at more cosmetic. Like I said, the longer you wait, the worse it gets. Is it going to go from 37,000 to 57,000 if you wait a year? Probably not. And as far as the pavilion, same thing. We've reached out to the manufacturer of the paint. We showed him pictures. We showed him everything. He said, power wash it, paint it, prime it, and paint it. And put another sealer, a urethane on top of it, and you're good for another 10 or 15 years. So
My recommendation was that the DPW did it under our guidance, but Scott reached out and said that his guys have no time. I wasn't recommending that you finish the project in 2 weeks. Maybe sections of it you can start and prioritize the bottom half, the second half. And I didn't want you to use our bucket truck. I would rent a man lift for us.
okay.
You know what I mean? So you didn't have to get paint all over a bucket truck. We use a rental piece for that.
Right.
You tell
Well,
me
I
what
figured
you
if
want
we
to
were
rent
using a
it.
bucket truck, we'd have to cover the bucket.
But with a man lift, you wouldn't have to cover anything. That's a rental piece. It is what it is. So that's all I wanted to say, in regards to that. I don't expect you guys to do the whole thing. I just thought that it would save us, $220,000. Imagine we put that towards the pool or something in that regard. I mean,
That's another issue.
this is something that is not the pavilion is sound. The integrity of the steel is not in jeopardy at all. It's just an aesthetic thing. And you can power wash it. Doesn't need to be sandblasted, prime it and paint it, which doesn't seem like you guys are definitely capable of doing that. So, I mean, I think we should talk about it and look into it a little bit more with keeping it in-house. Maybe we can do a section, a couple pieces, whatever.
I mean, my only concern was I think we're capable of doing all those jobs. My concern was just time of the jobs because besides these projects, we have other projects that we try to work on. I mean, fixing catch basins. And I sent out an email in July. So we have our salt shed. I don't know if you guys have been down there. The roof is falling off the salt shed. And so we have all the parts that put a new roof on it. We just haven't had the time. Yeah, it's going to be up before winter, but we have to do that. We have a list of catch basins we have to get done. One of them we have to get done, which won't be an issue, but is on Seward Street. We have to get done before they start paving.
guys have been very busy, Scoot. I mean, the new sign came in and I saw you had a crew of guys out there working.
Yeah, and
on the
I mean,
sign.
it wasn't long today, but today we just put the new hard drive in it because the other one froze up. So we just did that today, and there's app singers right away. Sorry, right away.
Yeah.
That I've been wanting to get because some of the block has fallen off, and she has brush that fell on it, and I thought about doing it this spring, but we had so much rain this spring that we couldn't get any of our vehicles on her yard without sinking. So that's kind of weather dependent also. And they also talked about us wanting us to redo the locker rooms at the pool, paint and put new lights in, and the showers in the girls' room, or they would like to have redone. We just replaced the shower heads, but like if you look at the shower stalls themselves, they're not in good shape. We also replaced valve number 4 in the pool filter, and we have a pipe issue in the garage for one of the outside bathrooms that we're going to have to fix. I mean, this is just some of the things, and besides, and the stairs we started over a year ago over in Lentz Cove, we haven't had a chance to finish the last set of stairs because we've just been running around. It's just the fact, that's why I'm worried about the time of these projects, because it's just,
We're
So
running
do you
out
have
of
a
time.
schedule? Do you go by a schedule?
we usually have to go by priority because like the stairs at the Cove, we have a sinkhole in the street because of catch basins falling in, I gotta do that before we do stairs at the Cove. So that's why it's been sitting. And a lot of things we've done, like the pool, we had to replace the valve this year, and that was to get the pool ready so that would take priority.
We got
over the
another valve we have
steps.
to replace now too.
Yeah, there's another valve we have to replace there too. And now today we just found out we have to raise at the pool. We have to raise some of the concrete around the pool because it's too low up against the pool that it could be a violation. And next year, so we have to dig up some of the concrete, raise it up so the water doesn't overflow from the pool onto the I guess the sidewalk, wherever you want to put the deck around the pool. So again, I will do all these jobs. It's just a matter of when, I could get one beam done at the pavilion and I might not get there for another month or two, and that's my issue.
And I can understand where Scott's coming from because
You
know,
did it
I'm the
yourself.
foreman.
Yeah,
You always try to have a schedule, how you're going to get this done and that done, and something always comes up that you have to address. And you have to try to keep the village looking proper too, with the grass cutting on top of all the other stuff that you do daily and weekly. And these other projects always seem to be put in the back burner at times, and you try to get to them when you can.
Well,
Yeah,
just
they just take a long
yesterday, we
time
got
to
another
do.
sinkhole on that street. We got another
Rockledge, there was something going on
We
there.
got a sinkhole on the half of the street. We got to figure that out. That just happened.
But it's
Couple
tough to. It's at times you'd love to do all the jobs that you're asked to do.
Blacktop?
No, it was,
just thunder.
it's right past Gallon Measure. There's an area there.
Drop.
It's like it dropped. I saw a picture today from Randy sent over, and I don't know what happened.
So we got to figure that one out too.
So he opened the manholes. He looked in the catch basins. The pipe looked good. The manhole looked good.
Looks like
the sewer flow.
the manhole looks like it stayed right.
It stayed where it is, and the asphalt around
Everything
it
else dropped down.
dropped. Yeah, so
That's
I don't know.
Anyway, I understand Scott's quandary here because you don't want to say no, but at the same time, there's some things you just have to kind of sit back, prioritize what we got to get done ourselves, and maybe a bigger project.
And just besides these projects, we have our daily trying to keep the grass cut
Right.
so it doesn't look too bad,
And then there's always something coming up. You have like Buchanan Day coming up, so you can't really get too much of a mess going on for that. And then, winter's upon you, and then spring's upon you again. And there's ball games and pools and stuff to get ready, and fields to get ready. So
just to add
it's just
just add 2 cents on this. If we know that these projects are not urgent, the way you describe them, DPW can try to do those projects depending on what you feel you can do. But at the same time, financially, we have some numbers. We can put some money aside like we do for the fire department, and we can start budgeting over the next couple of years. If create like a sinking fund that we can't be done, and we reach into a close time that we have to do the project, we have money set aside to do those projects as well. So we can look at those different options.
Can I say something?
Sure.
So if we think, we know we have the money to do the stairs, it's the smaller of the two projects.
Mhm.
Why don't we move forward on that one? Have some more discussion about the pavilion. You know, maybe the price, maybe when we go out to bid, the prices won't be as high as what we
Maybe.
are anticipating.
Correct.
But in the meantime, at least we get something off the plate.
Sounds good.
I know.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. I just don't, like I said, I think we can push this off. I mean, we have the $100,000, like Teresa said. And that's probably what we're gonna have to spend on paint or close to it.
Yeah, I don't know how that works with the grant, if you can just use it for like part of the I don't know how that works. We have to look at how
You
the
have to
grants.
spend, I think, over 60,000, at least a minimum 60,000 on the project. I'm almost positive.
For the
You're
grant?
the one that filled out the application. There's
Was that-
certain requirements, of course, you
And
know.
what's the time frame in which that money has to be used? Does it have to be used within the year it's granted?
The application doesn't go in, I believe, until October 1st.
Okay.
So, but you know, just to plan ahead has to be decided. So that's why we're going to talk tonight about that grant. So when the application goes in, we're all
right.
on the same page of how to apply for that grant, what to use it for.
But I mean, in the meantime, I'm comfortable with moving forward on the stairs. I don't know what everybody else's thoughts
I'm
are.
fine with
However
it.
you guys want to handle it, that's,
Well, we discussed earlier, we're gonna maybe put out the bid
Put out
first,
the
and see if we
bid.
get the best,
Yeah.
price, put out the bid, and
Yeah,
then
if
move
the
forward
bids
with it.
come out
Yeah,
too much, you can
I
always
agree with
reject it.
that.
So we've just been, and George knows, we've been fortunate over the years to do all the upgrades that were needed on the pavilion. There's the big one is doing the roof, and that's
Yeah,
going to be down the road eventually.
yeah, replacing the roof was up to $500,000
Yeah.
just to replace it. So that's why
crazy.
taking care of it and painting it is fraction of the cost. So.
Yeah. Because I think
Stretch.
we had to rebuild that today. I mean, fortunately, PASNY, which was it? Power Authority gave us the money for that in the 70s. I wasn't on the board then, in the 70s, and that's what they built that for us. So today, I really don't know what that would cost
Yeah.
to rebuild that.
I have a question. The base of those columns, we just did some major work on them a few years ago, correct?
Correct.
Because of rust.
Correct.
So are they holding up pretty good? After
Yes.
repair, there's no more rust
No,
spreading and walking now? Okay.
no.
Yeah,
La-
that
Last time I was down there, the paint looked like it was all good. So we did a major, so there was a concern with the columns. Bob was there at the
They're
time,
big holes.
and they were
Yeah.
big holes. So we did a lot of welding, a lot of repair, and then we painted 4 feet up all the way around on all those ones that we repaired. But now we got to the point where we need to go the rest of the way. So.
Okay.
And
All right. Well,
it's
food for thought.
surface. It's not even surface. It's just lightly under the surface. It's not even out on the surface yet.
Yeah, it just looked like some areas were pitted by eye, but I could be wrong. Maybe I didn't have my glasses on.
Yeah, but based on
we can
the
discuss it
recommendation,
further.
maybe we can start,
Yeah.
maybe Scott, we can get some gallons of paint, start doing the work ourselves and see what it comes out to be. And we start doing some stuff in-house.
If he has the time,
Does it come in gallons of paint or?
5 gallons, I would assume.
That's what I was thinking, because I was just concerned if we open a 5-gallon bucket and then we only use half, how long is it?
Yeah, it's got a 6-month shelf life. You got to use it up. There is a
That's-
shelf life.
What I was concerned about too.
So we could
So
figure.
I mean, I guess if we start not just doing like one whole beam all the way across, we start, say, going 20 feet up or
Correct.
something.
Rent the machine and start working on it and see, do a little bit of time.
Yeah, you could go up to the roof line on all the columns, go all the way around, and then that's a convenient stopping point, and then just do the roof portion later on.
Yeah.
We can do a little bit of time. see
Well,
if it
can we,
works out.
can we spray this paint?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
You can roll it or you can
Yeah.
spray it.
yeah, yeah.
Probably better off.
Spraying will go a little quicker, you just have to watch the overspray.
That's the problem with.
We've
spray.
wrapped that place a couple times.
Yeah.
Haven't we?
Just a
We've
couple.
wrapped up a billion every year.
Okay, Scott, we'll talk about it some more.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
So
Thank you.
don't go anywhere, because there was another question about painting the highway garage because it's starting to flake. So in your spare time, but I know the highway garage, it can be done piecemeal.
Yeah, well, I know I mentioned in email if say maybe if we did the front of the building and then like broke it up in sections, we can maybe do that and like figured front of the building, obviously it's not as big as say the side, and at least we can get the front looking good, and then we can work on the sides.
Yeah, it's just where the garage doors are. I think that's what catches your eyes, how that's peeling
Yeah, I
there
know it's
above.
peeling,
Yeah.
and the highway department sign fell off years ago. But
And I think there was some problem with the wood trim too in some spots too, that probably.
around the
needs to be-
doors,
Around the windows.
Windows, yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah, it was by
Yeah.
on the rec side, there was
Yeah.
some.
Can I make a suggestion on that and on the garage? If we're going to paint it, can we possibly look into different colors,
I
yes.
agree.
That
please?
should be our next conversation.
Thank you.
Good. We're on the same page. So the village color is blue, but it's
I
up
know.
to the board.
How
whatever
that
you
color
wanna
was
do.
never decided, I have no idea.
Yeah.
The swatches were given to the board at the village board at one point in time, and that's what they picked.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be picking it.
Fifth-
I mean, the old gray looked better than the yellow.
That's right.
Battleship Gray was the old color, and they
Yeah.
somehow came up with that one.
Okay, good. So maybe get some swatches for us, George, or Scoop, and then everybody can look at that. So little by little, thank you, Scoop. We appreciate everything. I know you guys work hard. I mean,
Yeah, thanks.
we've got a really good
Scott.
crew down
all right,
there.
welcome, thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay, so we'll move right into, do you want to discuss tonight the Harcum grant, the 100,000? I'll tell you, years ago, once again, the Hunger Games, before Senator Harcum, it was you would put in your project and maybe you would get it, maybe you wouldn't. But Senator Harcum has been good over the years. What he does, he's been equally distributing like 100 or 100 something $1,000 to all the communities. So that's more fair than trying to fight with different municipalities and try to get this money. So, and Anthony was with me when we were down at the
Concert.
one of the concerts one night. And, he had told us that, the 100,000 grant, he had that money set aside for us. So I know Marcus had sent out a list of different things that we could use that money for. Some is for equipment. There were different things. I don't know if anybody had a chance to look at that. If anybody has any thoughts of what you want to use that grant for.
I think we need to discuss that. I think
Okay.
we really do.
Yeah.
Go through a list of things that are prioritized and what we're talking about here, plus equipment that we need. And I think that's a discussion for another time.
All right, let's do that.
That list is pretty broad, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
All right, Marcus, if you could get to the board again, the list, that would be great. Attaining part. George, do we have anything for you? Anything else?
I
Or do
think-
you have something for us?
Painting projects, that was it.
Yeah.
So that was number C. Other than that, no.
All right, George, drive safely, man.
Wait a little while.
It's getting a little angry out there.
You can hang out with us. We're a friendly crew.
It is bad out there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to get worse or better. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll
just
take
be
my
careful.
chances.
We're
Maybe.
reading so much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a
All right,
good
good
night.
All right,
Thank
thank
you,
you, George, and thank you, George. You've done a
George,
lot of work.
I would like to talk to you, touch base on the parking lot. I have a couple of suggestions that I wanted to speak to you about, and then I want to bring them to everybody. I went down there and took a look at a few things.
That'd be great.
And I know you're meeting the contractor there.
We met with them.
You did.
So we met with him. He had a few ideas, and we need to. We came to a conclusion actually today. We should probably dig a little test pit out there to see what we're putting this wall on.
Mhm.
Make sure we're not putting it on something that's just going to
Soilless, yeah.
sink into the abyss. So maybe Scoot, back
yeah.
over.
Because that's all like wetlands.
Yeah, so we want to dig deep enough to know, well, we know where the water is. We just want to be above that. But we want to see what exactly is down there that we're building this wall on. That could be a problem if
Oh, yeah.
Small spread footing with hands.
it should. If it's not muck and mire. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
so but yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
I'll
great.
call you. Give me a call.
You give me a call anytime, maybe after the rain.
All right. Thanks, George.
George,
Okay.
George, stay on the boat.
Yeah,
Bob will be the commander, so,
Yeah.
or Commodore, they call that with a boat.
So
Not
that
gonna
100,
be that big, Bob, so,
that 100,000 grant last year went towards the boiler, correct?
yes. Uh-huh. So, yeah, we'll get that list again, and then we can have a discussion on what the board would like to spend that on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on along here, the waiver submission. So we've had discussions, the board's had discussions on this before. Just so people know, when a waiver is submitted, somebody who's retired from the state, who's, you can only make a certain amount of money. So the state allows the employees to get a waiver. So the board will be submitting that. So I had sent out one, and then the board wanted a different waiver. I don't know if there's any waiver that's been put together.
I think, Cindy, you have the waiver ready to go, right, that the board agreed on?
Yes. Okay. All right. I haven't read it, but that's okay. That's the original. It's the original.
It's the
Okay.
original.
Okay.
And then we were going to amend it with the dates in which it was posted on, and on which specific websites,
Okay.
and what the response was, and that neither of the candidates were qualified.
Okay. So, I'm just going to say I just wasn't comfortable with the original one, but I'm only one vote here. So, I'm going to, I don't know who would like to make a motion and, say who will be signing the waiver. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion
Okay.
for one of the board members to sign the waiver.
Okay, so you would make a motion saying that
Well,
you'll
Bob
be
could sign it,
sending
the
the
deputy.
waiver,
Mm-hmm.
and that you think that whatever board member should sign it. You know, so I don't know if you guys discussed who would sign it.
I'll sign the waiver.
All right.
Perfect.
So Wilda, make the motion again and include Dan's name in it, and then ask for a second, and then all in favor.
Okay, so I make the motion for Dan to sign it. May I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next is update on the cell tower. The cell tower it's moving along. I spoke to the gentleman, Vincent. They're working on the lease agreement yet. And I asked him this week, he's supposed to have a lot of paperwork. Stephanie, you'll be getting a copy of the agreement also. And I asked him to send all the documentation to the whole board. So just be on the lookout for that about the cell tower.
Can I
Yeah.
on that item while we're on it,
Yes.
did we or did we not agree to explore an outside vendor or firm that was going to represent the village on the contract?
And I
Did we
think
discuss
I think that went to the company, and they're still working on that.
Okay.
And once their attorneys, right, Marcus? Once their attorneys.
No.
No, I'm wrong?
Yeah.
Okay,
We
sorry.
have it, and I'm fine with it.
You're fine.
as written.
Okay.
Okay.
It was
All
never
right.
submitted to the
I just want to
company.
make, because the contracts are a little different than normal contracts, was my understanding. And that
All right.
we're, okay.
Because
As long as we're buttoned up good, I'm,
yeah, no. And, we wanted Stephanie to review it, of course.
Yeah.
She's our attorney.
right.
So
Okay.
you'll be getting more information this week, updates on that. So,
So that's good news.
yeah, that's good. That's
We
what
have
we want.
cell phone service that will work in the village.
Man,
Yes.
just want to make sure two things. One is the lease agreement with the cell tower themselves.
Okay,
That's what you're talking about, but also a tentative agreement with a third-party company to review the lease when it comes in. Is that something the village board wants to entertain? That has not been approved yet.
I thought we did approve.
No,
No,
I
you
think it was-
discussed it, was never
I
approved.
think it was discussed. That's what I was referring to.
That's where I got confused because I thought
Wasn't it
we
like-
had approved that.
Right.
It wasn't that expensive, if I remember correctly. It was like
$2,500.
$2,500.
It should be paid out of escrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right, whatever it is. So I can put it back on the agenda if you want to discuss it. Approve the company. When the lease comes in, they'll review the lease and work with Stephanie to come back with a recommendation to the board.
Out of escrow from
Out
there.
of
Yeah,
escrow,
so
yeah.
it's not costing us anything, so.
Correct.
okay.
All
All
right,
right.
that's good. All
Okay.
right, so we'll put that, if you want to discuss it further at the workshop, and then we can vote on it in September.
Okay.
But they're not ready to
Okay.
build yet anyhow. We're still out there.
So
I think
just,
it's going to take about 3 months to build it.
Okay.
So just to clarify, they're going to come back with a number, Marcus?
They have an hourly rate because they don't know
Okay.
how many hours it's going to be. That's-
Okay.
And well, that's in the agreement, and I'll forward it to the board again tomorrow, and to Stephanie, you guys can review it, and then you
Okay.
can discuss it at the workshop.
Sounds
The
good.
hourly rates for the third party to oversee the
Contract.
contract.
Correct, the lease agreement.
The lease
The lease
agreement.
agreement. All right, all right, good.
Okay, good. All right, the next thing is discussion on employee handbook, and I know Marcus had contacted a company. We really don't have an employee handbook. We have 19, 20 employees, and it's probably a good idea to have it. I will tell you this, Marcus, I am not looking to spend $6,500 for an employee handbook, $325 a person roughly. I just think that's high. My opinion, I just think that's kind of high for a handbook. Isn't there some way, I mean, other communities have it, and you've known a lot of communities.
Every hired the company to do it.
Yeah. And-
Majority, if you look at the list, most of them have hired.
yeah, but how many employees do they have compared to us?
Village of Ronsley had 30 employees.
Mhm.
It depends on the size, from the small municipalities to the large. I don't feel comfortable doing a handbook with all legal, federal and state regulation have to be done. If I miss something, I don't want to be blamed for missing something. That's why I'd rather have a third party company who does this professionally to do it. If you want me, I can.
I was going to assign you to do it. That's what I was going to do, but thank you.
I don't feel comfortable doing it.
Well, I have a
That's
question
the
though, because I
requirement.
could,
There too, legal.
I thought many years ago that we had an employee handbook written up. It was the union had to look at that. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So do we have that handbook somewhere now that we can use that
The
as a?
previous administrator got copies from other municipalities and put something together, and it hasn't gone any further from that.
Right. So is that something we can maybe use?
So I know Cindy and Sharon worked on that.
Oh, I remember 'cause I was a shop steward.
Yeah.
And
They had
the union
worked on
wanted
that,
to look at it.
compiled
There's no,
something.
they want to step on the union's toes.
Right.
That's
Right.
right.
Everything's in there.
No.
I don't think it moved
never
that far.
did.
It got to a discussion of that. and it
Yeah, I have
never
a
went any
copy
further.
of it.
That's up to the board.
Yeah, so maybe we can show
Whatever.
Stephanie that copy and see what she thinks about it. I don't know.
It was very preliminary, I
Someone.
think, if I remember. And now, you have to add in.
There's a lot to
Sexual
add in, and that's,
harassment,
but we're afraid
the-
we don't want to miss anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
I got to be honest, and working for a large corporation where we're owned by a company that owns 78 different locations, you don't want to toy around with HR.
Okay.
There's just too many. It's like a legal football now. You really want to make sure it's buttoned up and buttoned up properly. That's just my thought.
So is the board interested in hiring the HR? The
Well, do
company?
we have concrete numbers? What was the
It was
cost?
the proposal like
It was $6,500, and that includes
Yeah,
That was the whole
the
bullet.
whole ball of wax.
So the liability you're worried about, they're going to assume liability on all of that.
yeah, that's in it.
Yeah.
And they have a hotline number or anything that, who do our employees reach out to?
That'll be all in the handbook. If it's have to do a hostile work environment,
Mhm.
workplace
And
violence,
who would that be? You?
that will be probably me or the clerk. But
Mhm.
that's all part of the policies. All the policies have to be put in there so people can know what to follow.
And our shop steward would have to be educated on the handbook as well.
Anybody in a supervisory
If that's
position.
all the way it's going to happen, then great. I just hope it happens that way.
Right. Every employee will be given one, and they have to be signed off by each
Right.
employee as well. So everybody will have a copy.
And it should be yearly that they sign off.
As well as whoever's a backup. Like, so if you've got an assistant supervisor down at the garage, they're going to have to be, they're going to have to be well versed on that
Yeah.
handbook.
And our administrator will have to be educated as well how to handle the matters,
That's
correct?
right.
All right. That's good. Cindy, you too.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Cindy's
Let's
on
do
the
it.
ball too. Okay, so we will.
Yeah, if Teresa, if you know
do-
somebody else that does this, because I know you say you may want a mayors and that you talked about a company.
I could throw it out to the.
If
to
you-
the-
I'm not tied into this company.
Yeah. okay.
Yeah, I think it's an issue that's got to get addressed, but if we want to explore it a little bit more and give it a little bit more time and come back with, see if we can come back with a better figure.
At the
Mhm.
September
Yeah.
meeting.
Did you chop it or is this just the one place you
There's
were?
one, as part of the managers association, I emailed the managers and find out who they use, and 99% of them use this company to do it.
So you chopped it.
So they gotta be
Pretty much.
good.
And they shop it
Yeah.
and they like this company. And hopefully, if you look at it, you'll see all the municipalities that
Mhm.
we hired this company.
Right.
Town, villages, school districts, counties have hired this company. Well, again, if there's somebody else out there that could do it cheaper, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I'll have to ask.
Yeah, we put out a workshop for
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah. Yep. See if we can come up with some other numbers. If not, if the board is comfortable with the 6,500, then that's what we do. Okay, discussion on retaining temps. I know Marcus had sent out an email this week. He wanted to hire a temp. Keith is gone. Keith, our assistant treasurer, left on July 19th. There's some work, I guess, that when does this work have to be completed?
Well, we have a bunch of schedules. Keith was doing a pretty good job. He was getting a whole bunch of schedules together. Again, I don't want to complicate issues, but we have due tos to do from transfers in, transfers out, compensating balances. So there's a whole bunch of schedules to be ready for the auditors. Cindy and Sharon and myself are working on a lot of the other stuff, capital projects and everything else. So I would like to get everything tied in. Of course, everything has to be tied in with the cash balances on a monthly basis and the bank recs. So I will think about hiring a temporary agency for 1 week at no more than $2,500 to review and get those schedules up to date and work with Cindy, myself, and Sharon to get those schedules ready for the auditors.
Okay, and when are the auditors coming in?
We will probably in October, November.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So I'm going to say something. I just would like to see, this is expenditure of money. So going forward, I really don't want to see that going out on email and asking for the board to make a decision. So if we could, and if it's an emergency, that's fine.
Okay.
Because what we can do then is have a special meeting anytime there's an emergency. And I think it's just the proper way to do it. It's expenditure of taxpayer dollars. And I know you're interested in getting somebody in, but I just think for the open meetings law, I just think it's kind of important to do the public business in the light of public at the meetings.
Okay. I respectfully disagree. We spend money every single day.
Mhm.
We spend thousands of dollars on contractors every single day. And under the code, I'm the one responsible for spending the money. Out of respect for the board, I'll let you guys know.
Please.
If the board, I do every time. Let me say,
Yes.
please. I do it every single
Well-
time. I'll let the board know. If the board has an issue with it, I have no problem having a discussion. But I do have the authority under the code to spend the money. If not, then every single bill has to be approved by the village board.
Well, the board does sign off on the vouchers.
After
Yeah.
I've already been, after the work has
Okay,
already been
but-
done.
I think what we need is to, since the board is responsible for the financial here, I think the board just needs to be a little more enlightened. Going back a couple of months ago, I know you guys had worked on the salt shed. I didn't realize that was already done and that was an expenditure of money too. So I'm just saying
What about that as well?
to keep the board involved. And I do appreciate last week when you did tell us out front about the gas line hookup, because, people come to us, what's going on? What's going on Albany Post Road? And, we don't want to have the answer like, I don't know. So, that's why it's good. I'm glad you sent the email telling us that Con Edison was there, because people ask us things. So we want to know, how we can answer them and give them the right answer. That's all.
So from the board's point of view, at what point do I ask the board for permission to spend every single dollar?
So that's what I was going to ask.
Well, this is, what I think what concerned me, it was we are hiring somebody. Yes, it's a temp company, but you're hiring someone.
Yeah.
That's all. And I just think, it would, if
But
Yeah. No, I get
we
that.
have Brazil do
I get
a
that.
sewer main break for $6,000 or $7,000.
well, you could send us an email, say, guys, just to let you know.
I have every single invoice now. I got to send an email to the board asking every time we spend money.
You know what? We're accountable for the money here. So I'm just
Not
saying,
under the-
my
under the
personal
village, under the village
you're
code.
responsible for day-to-day operation. I
Under
get
the
that.
village code.
I get that.
If you look at the
I
village
get that.
code.
I have looked at the
Oh,
village
you
code.
okay.
I have.
Under
looked
the
at
village code. I'll
Marcus,
read
I'm
you
not going to
stuff.
argue with you because
Oh, you don't wanna argue.
we're starting to spiral here. We're starting to gear up into a fight, and I don't want to do that. Okay, please.
Under section
So,
35-3 of the Power Authority of the Village Administrator, supervise and control all encumbrances, expenses, and distributions, including ordering of all vouchers to ensure budget appropriation are not exceeded.
So all I'm asking is that, when there's expenditures like that, and
Like what?
Anything. Well,
Oh,
this
anything?
to hire a company.
I'll
I was just concerned. See, we're spiraling, Marcus.
No, I
We're going to
need-
stop.
no,
We're
I
going
need
to stop.
direction.
We're going
I
to
need
take a
direction.
breath.
All right, let's keep this
Take a breath.
Okay,
constructive.
well, I need to know
Let's-
from the
Take a
board,
breath.
at what point do I wait for the board of permission before we spend any money? That's what I need.
I'm not saying that. I'm
That's what you
saying
said.
the board needs to know, like, when you sent this email, I think it needed to be discussed at a public meeting. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
$2,500.
I know, but we didn't know I didn't see $2,500. I didn't see the dollar amount.
It was
there.
You could have called me, but I asked a question.
I could have, but I said we were going to discuss
Okay,
it this
so-
evening.
so-
Okay, sorry, everyone.
No, I'm
We're-
sorry too.
we're
I
smart.
need to know what my limitations are. That's all I need. I'm asking
Okay.
the board, what's my limitations? Every time I get a bill.
The board's responsible for the expenditures here too. I get it.
So what's your limitation?
Well, I don't think you need to notify us for every expenditure like you've been doing. I mean, if it's something that is a priority and it's something that we need an emergency, then we need to know about it.
Mhm.
I don't need to know when you pay your electric bill. I can tell you that right now.
Right. Uh-huh.
But if it's a priority, it's an expenditure that the community may question me on. Yeah, I'd like to know about it.
Mhm.
But if it's a bill that is an in-house office bill, I think you know your job, your limitations.
Correct.
Okay, Marcus, so continue. So anyhow, we can move on to the next item. And as I mentioned before, Keith Douglas resigned on July 19, 2024. He was our assistant treasurer. So I'd like to make a motion to accept his resignation. And I have a second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you. And so that's being advertised. Keith's position, correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. The next is we had a resignation from a planning board member. And there's a few conversations I want to have, but I'd like to make a motion to accept the resignation of Jennifer Backer as of July 31st, 2024 from the planning board. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So first of all, thank you, Jennifer Backer, for serving on our planning board. And I'm sorry, you couldn't continue to serve, but, we all thank you for your service to the village. So we're kind of seeing some issues on some of the boards, and we don't have anything in our code. So, for example, there's no attendance code in our board. Stephanie, do you want to?
I was going to cover that in the attorney report, actually.
I will stop then. So
Thank you.
I will let you have your report.
Thank you.
So what I'd like to do, I would like to advertise this on Facebook, going out into the newsletter to see if there's any interested people that would like to serve on the planning board. We do have a lot of talent here in the village. And please, if you could send to Cindy or Sharon at the Village Hall, and they will compile any of the people that are interested. And what I'd like to see is perhaps small resume or some thoughts of why you'd like to be on the planning board. And, it's always good to have, I know there's one person that is interested, but I think in fairness to the rest of the community, I think we should put it out there and see who else is interested and, perhaps get some new blood on the planning board, and we'll go from there. And then we'll see what resumes or interests we have, and then we'll, I'll make the decision.
I
Okay.
agree with that.
That sound good? Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah, and
And
just
you were on the planning board at one time. Yeah, Wilda was on the planning
and
board.
just to reiterate what Teresa, it's an important job. So
Yes.
it's going to require some dedication, just like us sitting up here. But we'd like to see some new blood, and
It's once a
hopefully
month.
we can
Meetings
fill
are
that
the fourth
position fairly
Thursday.
quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, fourth Thursday of the month. And like I've always said, we have a lot of talent here in the village. So there, over the years, there's people that want to get involved. So this is an opportunity to get on the planning board. So
Yeah. And it is an important job. It's very important. We have a lot of projects going on, and
Yeah.
they are the face of when developers come in, and they need to have the right answers for these guys. So the more educated and knowledgeable they are, the better off we are.
I agree. And I agree with the process that Teresa's putting forward.
thank you. Okay, so what do we have? The next one is, are you ready to
For what? Oh.
go on the boat?
I might, yeah.
You're not going to live that boat down, okay?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to see what I have to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. I'm gonna.
I'll do it
yeah.
now. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I don't know if everyone knows. I think most of the board does know now that I will be stepping down as deputy mayor.
Oh.
I'm retired. I'm retired now. I appreciate Teresa let me appoint me as deputy mayor. I find myself a little bit more busier, taking time off going on vacation. Grandkids keep me busy. And I just think that it's a little bit more than I want to take on right now as the deputy mayor, but I'm still here as trustee. I think I have a lot to still bring to the board in that aspect. So I'd like to thank the mayor for appointing me in the beginning. And that's the way it is. You know, life does change and things get better as you get older. You get busier. I'm busier now than I ever was.
Now that you're retired.
Yeah.
Yep. Then how I got all this stuff done when I
So
was
thank
working.
you, Bob. Thank you for doing that. So, by law, I have to have a deputy mayor. And if something happens to me, I become ill, I can't make a meeting, there by law has to be a deputy mayor. So I'm sure some people are going to be surprised when I announce this. What do you think, Anthony? Think they'll be surprised? So, I have decided that I am appointing Anthony Capicotti as the deputy mayor. And,
I'm very excited.
yeah,
I'm
good.
very
No.
surprised too.
And you know what? Anthony was the deputy mayor before. He does have experience. And if I want to start traveling like Bob, no, I'll wait until after. But anyhow, so, it's an important position because, from day to day, we don't know in our lives what's going to happen to us. And Anthony and I have had some, how shall I say?
Don't even say it. It's in the past. It's
Discussions,
we're
but
moving on from
that's
that,
right.
and that's
We've had some
uh,
interesting discussions.
yeah. Well,
We've had
it's
some interesting discussions and we've had a talk and, we're it's all about the village. What's in the best interest of the village, the bottom line. So I'd like to appoint Anthony Capicotti as the deputy mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be the deputy mayor of the Village of Buchanan again, and I will do what's right and the best that I can for this community as always. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. So we are moving on.
Girls, thank you.
I'm going to buy you a drink.
All right.
Yep, there you go. See, I volunteered you. Okay, so next, information from officers and departments, justice reports. Whoop, gotta get the justice reports. Okay. From July 2nd, 1,042, June 18th, 3,686. I like to read these so people see what's going on in the court. They have been busy. Another July 2nd, $4,615. Oh, and then there's another one, 2,469 for June 18th also. The next is police report.
Okay. I have the June monthly report here. They had a total of 155 calls. Some of those calls were the 8 assists to other agencies, 1 motor vehicle accident, 12 medical aids. They've given out 27 movement summonses, which were basically some speeding, equipment, uninspected equipment, and disobeying traffic control, and various other things here. They do a great job for us. We're lucky to have them.
Thank you, Bob. What was the next one? We are moving on to highway report.
The 2024 June highway report. 75 tons of garbage, 23 tons of bulk dumpsters, lot of not many leaves, 18 yards of chips. We cut down a big tree by the tennis court. I know that. We subbed it out, and our guys helped clean it up. It was a problem. It was leaning over the tennis courts. It was an issue with safety, so we removed it. The guys are very helpful with that. They were very busy getting the pool ready for the camp. And recently, I did notice that they were in the front helping with the not only did they help with the removal of the oil tank, correct? But they also installed the new digital sign out front, which I came here when they were here operating their new backhoe, which was
The way you worked it.
yeah. Well,
A little different, huh?
I'm going to try and give them a couple of tips when I get some time. But I will tell you, they did a great job with the footings, the foundation. Tony explained to me how he was going to set the footings and the foundation of that. I disagreed with him. And then I said to him, you know what, Tony, I think you're right. I mean, the company did recommend a footing, a drawing for a footing. He went by that and he did a nice job, came out beautiful. The sign looks good. They backfilled, seeded, and hayed. It looks great. And I want to commend them on that work. They did a really nice job. Makes the village look so much better. The sign, it looks great. And yes, Bob, that was your
Yes.
idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you get new glasses?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're looking good.
Yeah, wow.
yeah.
You're looking pretty good,
I
Bob.
don't know about that. Now I can see.
I just
Well, that's
noticed that. Wow. You're retired now. You're living it up.
Yeah.
Looking cool on the golf course. All
I
right.
don't know about that.
So the highway guys did a great job out there. There's our pictures of on here of them doing some work at the tennis courts, helping out. And
Did you put the pictures of the sign on Facebook when the guys were working? Oh, good, good, good.
yeah, no. So that's
Yeah, good.
it for our report.
Okay,
Good job, guys, on the sign.
Thank you. So the wastewater, treated wastewater, 7,372,000 gallons, sludge removal, 78,000 gallons. And there were 6 reports to the Westchester County Department of Health and DEC. Let's see, precipitation 3.50. And the June 12th was the Westchester County Department of Health inspection, no violations reported. So that's always important. Building department. Do I have anybody as the liaison for the building department? Do I have to find somebody? Okay, I'll do it tonight.
I thought wasn't
Oh, Wilder, are you the building department?
I thought
No.
Wheels.
I
How
thought
would
you were.
you? Are you?
I was.
Yeah, yeah.
Still.
I still am?
Yeah.
I still am. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Building department, this is for the month of May. They issued 10 building permits. Let's see. So, they're doing accessory apartment inspections and fire inspections are being scheduled. They have several commercial and residential owner complaints being resolved. Several planning and zoning board applications and violations are being reviewed. 4 certificate of occupancies issued. And that's, a few other things here, but they're always busy there, so.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thanks, Bob. Buchanan engine for June 2024, structure fires 1, EMS assist 8, automatic alarms detectors 2, public assist 1, gas emergencies 1, mutual aid given 1, and no motor vehicle, so total of 14 alarms. I want to take this opportunity to thank Stephanie, our attorney. We had to send something out with this whole thing going on with the fire department and the OSHA and everything. And I thank Stephanie for putting that letter together so that we would have a voice in this whole mess of OSHA and their what their thoughts are of requirements for all fire departments throughout the country. So zoning board minutes of June 26th, receive and file. There's no prosecutor report. Attorney's report. Did I miss something? No?
No,
Good.
just ask Marcus a quick question.
Okay.
Okay, I have a couple things. So today, Marcus, myself, and Dave got on a call with the AMS team. I think I wrote you all a memo earlier, and so they came back to us. They do want to move forward with the 55 plus tenancy, so that would be the age. They're telling us it's mostly for financing reasons. It's hard to get financing out there for projects, and there is what the banks or the lenders are looking at is the 55 plus. In any event, they do wish to come in to tell this, to explain this to the board, either on the 27th at the workshop or September 3rd at the next meeting. Do you know how we left that?
The main lawyer, Mark Weingold, is away out of town, so he's going to try to have his partner come in. So, but she's out of town as well. She's in Portugal, so we're trying to figure out which will be available for which meeting.
Oh, okay, yeah, just let us know. We'll
So
put that on the
They actually
agenda.
drafted up a email to the board, but
We did?
yeah, it was happening late this afternoon. So we'll forward that over to the board. just
Okay,
for
great.
consideration. It'll be one of the next 2 meetings.
Great. We're good?
Yes, I think we're good.
Okay, so also Holtec,
Sure.
everybody's been asking me about an update.
Yes.
So there is no update. I've reached out to the attorneys a couple of times. I'm being told, when Marcus and I went through with Holtec, there was 1 or 2 paragraphs that we particularly had an issue with. Those paragraphs seem to continue to be an issue for Holtec. They're trying to work it out among themselves. I've written twice, and what I'm being told is, give me a couple of days. There's some internal conflicts, but I'm not even sure what they are. So I continue to chase it down. I write Jason once a week, just, so that's where we are there. But I am on it. I'm trying to move it along. As far as the planning board and the zoning board, I note that I didn't really ever think about it, but it looks like when you guys need a planning board member or a zoning board member, are we giving any sort of document that tells them what the training requirements are, what the attendance requirements are?
No.
Okay. So I would like to draft a document. We can do it in the code as well, because we don't have some of this in our code. So that maybe like Cindy, when you advertise, if we have a document that's uploaded as well, I think it gives people a chance to say, oh, I didn't know I had to, be there 2/3 of the time, or I didn't know I had to get training. And that's a law. So I think that it would both give people the opportunity to say no thanks before they jump in, or thank you, I'd love to do it, and know what the requirements are, what the attendance are, because we do have a problem with, and I'm thinking that people probably don't know what the expectations are.
Yeah.
So I'm going to draft that. I might come in with a code change in a month or 2, because I think it's important, especially in the zoning. We do tell them that the training is mandatory. But what I'm being told is, I think we should, and it'll be on the form as well, that they should bring their certificates proving their training by December 31st. Apparently, they're self-reporting. I don't know what that
No,
means.
they give me the certificate
Oh,
and
good.
I keep track.
Everybody does it.
No.
So, okay.
And we do send them all the training classes that we get notifications of, and all the training for planning and zoning sent to the board. And I sent it to the village board as well, so everybody knows what's going on.
And so, but everybody's not doing it.
No.
And that's grounds for removal under the law. So I think that people aren't aware of this. And if they sign off on it, that would be a great thing. Everybody's aware, everybody will go. Okay. So, and that's all I had.
All right, thank you. Marcus, what do you have for us tonight?
Just to continue on the AMS discussion, besides the 55 and plus, there was a big discussion with them regarding the retaining wall in the back of the property, and what it's going to look like. And I thought that's important for the board, so they're going to come with some renderings of what that wall might look like.
Yeah, we talked about the netting, no netting.
No netting, no netting. It's going to be either natural rock, if they can get enough off the site, or some kind of composite rock spacing that'll look like natural
It's
rock.
gunite, they spray it on.
Correct. So they're going to come up with some proposals. But besides the 55 and above, I told them to give some renderings of what the wall will look like. That way you guys can look at it. I think, Anthony, your expertise on that would be very helpful in that aspect of it.
Well,
So just want to let you know about that. The digital sign, thank God, is up and running. Cindy and I have been killing ourselves. It was off for a while because we've realized that the controller of the system, even as a brand new sign, was not working properly, because Cindy was sending a bunch of displays out there. They will freeze. They wouldn't work. In fact, Cindy came on a Saturday. Can I say? We're her pajamas because her son's still.
In your jammies.
I can say the sign got frozen in the middle of the evening. And her son saw it, and then she came out. She called me. I'm gonna get with the sign. I'm shutting it off. So we were very dedicated. It's what people see, and we took it very important. So we replaced the controller today. We just got that done. So it's up and running now properly. Hopefully it keeps on working. So I just want to give the board an update on that. But it was off for a while.
Yeah.
And something got frozen. So hopefully it's working now
And
properly.
I know the neighbors there are very, very grateful, because at first when it went on, it was very bright, and it got turned, the color,
Yeah.
the brightness got turned down, and
We actually knocked down the
Make sure it's
we knocked
still
it.
down.
Yes, that's right. We got a new controller.
Yeah.
We knocked it down to 10%.
yeah, and you still can see it.
You
It's
gotta thank you
fine.
that next step.
Hmm?
You gotta
That's
thank
good.
you.
Yeah. She was nice. I understood what she was dealing with. It was right across the street from our house.
Yeah.
So we got that done. We discussed before the advisory recreation committee about Survey Monkey. Based on the discussion with the board, we spent the $900 to do the annual Survey Monkey application. It's ready to go. All I need is if somebody wants to do the survey and make one up, I need the email address and the name. And
Megan is
if
going
you
to
can
do it.
email me
Yeah, 'cause
her.
Wilda and I'll have a Wilda talk about the recreation
Okay.
committee tonight, but we just came from the recreation
Perfect.
committee before this, and
Okay.
good
give-
group of people,
Great.
and she's going to take that
Okay,
on.
just all I need is an email and her full name, and we can
Okay.
set her up, and then so we'll get an email to log on, and then she could do whatever service she wants to do. We talked about WQIP grant, that was submitted on July 30th, so that was done.
Mhm.
The WIA grant, talking to the grant writer, they say we might hear September or October.
Oh,
We're going to
okay.
do WIA grant, to let you know. The cessation fund application that's been submitted as well. Confirmed it with the state that they have it. So now we're just waiting for them to go through their process. Holtec paid their money, so, which is good. I need
That's
that to
good.
be paid before I can apply for that. So that's done as well. The parking lot, the Fast Out parking lot, as part of the review, George needed to hire a surveyor to survey the property to see what the surrounding property is
Okay.
and how far it goes out. Because there's a drop off in the back. We gotta see how back, and we got neighbors on that side as well.
Yeah.
So George is working on that as we discussed. So we need to find out what that is. On the pool, just to give you a little quick update on the pool, we've been talking about the wading pool. So try to find out some consultants out there to give a proposal to see if the village wants to bring the wading pool back or put a spray pool or just close it up totally. That's something for the recreation you guys should talk about as well. But they're talking about at least $300,000.
Yeah.
Because we
Wow.
can't bring the same pool back. The new requirements are, it has to be handicap accessible. It has to be a ramp going into the pool. It has to be for small kids. We have to separate the whole filtering system, totally separate it. It'll be a sand-based system versus DE. So I totally got to write everything up, bring it to the board, have a discussion, and that way the public can know as well why the waiting pool is still not working.
Yeah.
And then guys can decide what your priorities are, or we can just close it off and put a patio there, whatever you guys want to do in the
Close it
future.
off, because for the little ones,
Mhm.
and we have a younger age group that's moved into the village. We have a lot of young families coming in, but and I know I mentioned it, and Wilda knows at recreation that we have the $200,000 still in our
Correct.
recreation fund.
Correct.
And then when AMS finishes and Carbone, we're looking at how much, it was over 300,000.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
there's for that recreation fee. So just, keep that in mind. It's not like we have to, but the problem is AMS doesn't pay until after the construction is done. So I don't know if we can wait that long,
Yeah, well, like I said, it could be done at any time, but the waiting pool is shut down. It's totally just to update the public and the board we had to shut it down, but there was a substantial leak underground.
Right.
By shutting off the valve, it stopped the leak. So there's something underneath the ground. And with the county department of health, as soon as you touch the plumbing, you got to redo everything. So talk to this individual. He does a lot of pools for municipalities. As soon as we tell the Department of Health that we're shutting down the connection and we're not using that system to filter the system, they're just feeding the water to a new filtration system. We could just deal with the wading pool separately from the main pool. So that it doesn't open the Pandora's box in that section of the pool.
Right.
So again, he's going to give a proposal, get it to the board, and you got some time. The wading pool has been shut down, 3 years now?
Probably,
Right?
probably,
So,
yeah.
It's just I hate to see it there every day and
Yeah, I
nothing
know.
happening. So in case people ask why is that nothing happening, that's the reason why.
Yeah, it's not
I
cheap.
think it'd also be a good idea to get like an attendance of how people are using that pool after camp
Mm-hmm.
in the rest of the summer to see really to help us make a decision which way we want to go
Mhm.
and why, and maybe part of the survey why people don't use it.
Well,
Right.
I
I've
don't
worked
think
there
you
for many
really,
years, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I don't think you really see the wading pools much anymore. You see like the sprinkler
Spray pool,
parks,
yeah.
And
that's about
I like the
$300,000.
sprinklers
at least.
myself.
the cheapest one.
They
when I
kids
looked-
love that stuff. Yeah.
The cheapest one when I did prices back then was like $250. The cheapest
Yeah,
one.
it's going to be 300,000, and every little instrument that you got is additional $50,000 or $60,000.
I know.
My goodness.
Yeah, it's not.
Great.
it's not good.
Crazy.
So I just want to give you guys an update. The pool, we had I emailed the board. We did have an issue with the pool with the cloudiness. The Department of Health did give us a violation on that. We realized there was a problem with the filtration system as well as the chemicals. So I was able to get somebody in there because our calcium was out of balance, the pH was out of balance. All they measured is chlorine and all those other issues, and also with there was copper in the pool as well. So we were able to fix everything. So we met all the standards. We had a better filtering, better testing kit to test for everything.
That's important.
And now the pool is much better now. And there was an issue with the filter, so we got that fixed as well. So it's working better now, and we got some professionals there that can help us through that process as well. So just to let
Yeah,
everybody.
the Department of Health is, they're tough. They're tough.
Right.
But
And there was
we
no
don't want
waiver.
we don't want anyone to get sick.
Yeah,
either,
there was no warning, no waiver.
No, they just
You know?
show up.
Yeah.
Hello, we're here.
Exactly. So thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't have much this evening. I spoke to the fire chief and I spoke to the police chief. One of the policies that we should have in the village is emergency plans, and we've had something just not really concrete. You know, we've had a few hurricanes where we've lost power, et cetera, et cetera. So we're gonna get the initial meeting, because I think I had asked Cindy, we don't have any emergency plan. When Indian Point was here, there was an emergency plan. The state basically took over if there was an issue over there. So, but for our community, you're seeing the weather change and different things happening. So I will meet with them the first time. Bob, if you're the police, if you're able to, if you could meet. And then I'd like to bring in Susan Spear from Westchester County, who handles a lot of the emergency stuff. And then, you know, anytime one of the board members wants to come in, if Bob's not there, you know, just to hear the discussion, so we can talk about having an emergency plan. So one of the basic emergency plans we had is if something does happen, we would open up the second floor in the village hall because we have generator. We have a generator here, so whether it's hot or cold, they can't. It's really considered a heating or cooling. It's not considered shelter. We can't consider it shelter for people. The firehouse is offered to open up. They've been very generous about, you know, yes, people can come here. So it's just, you know, thinking ahead with the change in the weather and everything, just to be prepared if something does happen, that we're not standing here with our teeth and saying, what do we do now? So, and Wilda will talk about the recreation committee. She was there. Wilda's going to be the liaison, and it's a lively group. And so some good conversations there. And that's all I have for this evening.
So I'm going to add to what you said.
Yeah, well, I'm going to leave. You can go next.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Recreation Committee is coming up with a lot of ideas that will engage our residents. They're just floating the ideas now. So hopefully within the next few months, we'll have a lot more to share. In terms of pickleball, we will start our introductory lessons on the 15th of August. I'm very excited about that. We will have everything prepared. So if the residents are listening, if it rains, we're still going to hold it in the pavilion. So rain or shine, come. I have a waiting list. So I've met my 8 participants. I can't play because I gave my spot up for a resident, and so did my husband. So we're on the waiting list. And the waiting list now, we have about 15 people.
That's great.
So we're excited. So let's see what happens, and I'll keep everyone posted.
Thank you.
Good.
Bob, what do you have for us tonight?
I don't have too much. Everyone covered a lot of stuff that I was going to bring up. But I'd like to thank the highway department for the sign. The installation they did that when it was like 98 degrees for a week. All the digging, the physical work, let alone the machinery helps a lot, but they still did a lot of physical work. So they did a great job. It looks really good out there. I do have a question though on talking about some trees. I know years ago I looked into the back left part of the pavilion up on that mountain there. There's some massive trees there that are leaning over the pavilion. I really think we should maybe take a look and maybe get some price about getting them down, because if they come down, we're worried about a big expense in that pavilion. That's going to be a big expense in the pavilion.
Are they the
So,
big trees?
They're big.
Oh,
I forgot what they
so
were.
they're just a little.
I forgot what
They'll
they
do
were.
some
They're
damage.
massive trees. They'll come right down in the pavilion and really cause major damage. And outside of that, that's all I really have. Thank you.
And thank you, Bob. That was, as Anthony said, that was your idea. And, you know, just another way for us to communicate with the residents what's going on. And Cindy, who did it? Cindy, with the pickleball. I love that sign. It is so cute. Thank you. It's an eye catcher. So thank you. Anthony, what do you have for us tonight? Deputy Mayor Anthony Capicotti.
Well, let's start off by saying thank you. I appreciate the the,
Older
this
couple.
position and the confidence that you have in me to hold this position. I hope this board, me and Teresa have had our disagreements. I'm sure we'll have more disagreements. It's just the way we are. Okay, I am an Italian, she's a Greek. Maybe that's got something to do with it.
I think they've been fighting for centuries, so nothing new here.
So the Romans were a superior group, just to let you know that.
Let's tell you about the Minyaki women in the south of Greece, okay?
The Romans conquered pretty much all of the world.
All right, we're gonna keep
This
moving.
conversation's going downhill fast.
Jump in.
It's starting to get heated here.
Let's keep it moving.
All right, so we're going to be cohesive now moving forward for the benefit of this village. That's all I'm trying to say. And I think we are going to disagree, but the disagreements will only propel us to a right decision for the village in a whole. So I'm looking forward to doing that as well moving forward. As Bob, on that, we should look into the town arborist to do an investigation on the weight of those trees and see if they're, look at you. How about that?
Yeah.
We have Kevin Bell now, who is an arborist, so he can help us with that. I have a question on the agreement with Holtec. I don't really have a question. You kind of hit on it. I had notes here. I just wanted to keep the public informed. We did have an agreement, a monetary agreement. I just want to make sure that, that's still in play. And I just want to, I don't understand what the holdup is here, but now you explained it to me. There's some language that needs to be changed and negotiated. So,
And it's not about the amounts we settled for.
Mhm.
It doesn't have anything to do. They're not trying to
Okay.
lower the pilot or the years or the length. It's not about that. It's some internal stuff about releasing the property and how,
mhm.
and that matters.
Yeah,
So
no,
that
that's
matters to
that's a
them.
big part of that.
And so I hope that it'll be soon enough.
Yeah.
Keep you posted.
Well, we got the hard part hammered out.
Yeah.
So that's.
There's an agreement in principle.
That's it. The AMS thing as well, the 55 and older. I mean, I am still behind this project. I think it's great for the village. Their original presentation though was not anywhere near what they proposed to us, that they were going to try and attract the young couples that wanted to move into our village.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm kind of a little bit, I get the 55 and older for the financing aspect,
Yeah.
but to benefit the village, the younger people moving in, one house, one family, have one child, there's room enough for them, then they buy a house in our village. That was what we planned on pushing with this development. So, they are getting away from that now, but it does help the older generation in our village as well. And I hope that it stays. I'd like to speak to them about it.
That's why they're coming in, and they're going
Yeah.
to present to you because all of these questions came up among us as well. And we said,
Yeah.
bring it. The board's going to have the same kind of questions.
Yeah, I mean, when they propose it to the community, they propose it as such.
Yep.
And it's questionable. It really is. And I want to just make sure that we're all doing our due diligence here to make sure that they give us the right responses. And you did touch on the planning board. We did have somebody that showed interest, but I do think we need to go out to the public and see if there's more people that are interested, and they should be trained.
Yeah.
And I think it's a priority. I've listened and watched some of these planning board meetings, and we need.
Training.
That's all I'm going to say. And I
what
didn't
you're gonna
say you did. Okay.
The training is available. It's just, they have to do it. The state offers different training, not the state.
The state does as well.
Yeah.
And so does the county. There's all sorts of, I'm sure you have a list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the planning association, they meet in Westchester County. There's local, there's Zoom, there's
Yeah.
internet training. There's a lot of opportunities for
There's a
training.
lot of
They
opportunities.
just have to do it.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the Holtec agreement one more time.
Okay.
The reason I wrote here, the reason my original question was, I did go down to Lens Cove, and I know that the Lens Cove, moving forward with the Lens Cove idea of utilizing the property, was based on finalizing this agreement with Holtec. And I think that that piece of property is a beautiful piece of property. We could offer it to some kind of a youth organization in some facet. And I would like to try and push that, once that's finalized, for them releasing, like they did in the past for us to use it for softball, and maybe use it. I mean, right now I drive by, it's a disgrace. It really is. It needs to be used. The parking lot is in bad shape, but it is usable. There can be some temporary fixes done on it just to maintain it so we can get cars in and out of there and make sure that it's safe. I like to use that property sooner than later. I think that it's a beautiful piece of property that needs to be utilized by our youth. So I that was my question on the whole tech. I know that was one thing we wanted to finalize that before we asked him.
Can we discuss that in exec session?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, I'm not going any
Yeah,
farther
no,
with that.
I know, and it was discussed at the rec committee tonight too.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
Property, which is good. No, we're all on the same page here.
Yeah, I won't go any farther with that, but very good. That's it. That's all I have. And
Thanks.
thank you again for trusting me to be a deputy mayor.
Thank you. Thank you for accepting. Dan, what do you have for us?
I'd just like to say thank you to Jen Bacher and Keith Douglas for their service to the village, as well as a thank you to Bob for his stint as deputy mayor. Business Development and Economic Committee, I want to have a discussion with David Smith, and then hopefully we can start to move things forward after I touch base with David, I'm sorry. And then also I just want to say thank you to the entire board for a productive meeting. But hopefully we can have more meetings like this.
Good
Thank
meeting.
you.
Put it here, man. Put it here.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Good meeting. So, guess what's next? Oh, the only other thing I wanted to say is, again, Bob, thank you for the sign. It was a good idea, and we're looking forward to more good ideas from you.
Well, now you can see good, so.
Yeah,
You
right.
got new glasses.
Yeah.
That's it.
I was walking the line before.
So, and you know what? I like the highway department. You saw on the bottom, the base of it, they put like some stonework and stuff to make it really stiff it up a little bit. So we don't have our friend Eileen here tonight, huh? So it's comments from the floor. So I'm going to say this. Usually there's a 3-minute time span with the comments from the floor. I know, Paul, you're here tonight from Certainteed. And if you want to just give us a blush of what you want to talk to, because we will be talking more. There will be continued conversations, especially public hearing. And, we had asked for you to write your comments down. And like I said, there's public hearings coming and everything else yet. So, but if you'd like to come up to speak for maybe like 5 minutes or your attorney, that's fine.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I don't know if it's good or bad to say this. My name is Anthony Mirando.
It's bad.
A lot of
It's
vowels.
bad,
So
Anthony.
we'll see how this
No, I'm
goes.
kidding.
No, they're Roman.
I'm outnumbered.
No, we will be respectful of your time. We understand that this matter is not on the agenda, which I hope is our presence here, Paul's presence, our planner, Nina Peak from SLR, other members of Certainteed. We actually have Bruce Majors, a VP of Operations, is actually watching and was hoping to give a 30-second comment as well tonight, public comment. Us being here, and as we were here last month and as we've been here before, should show you how concerned we are with the proposed comprehensive plan update language as well as the rezoning, which includes the Certainteed property in Buchanan off Broadway. And us being here should show you how significantly concerned we are about what this is saying. And we don't want to continue to wait or hold back for a public hearing because we quite frankly think that there's conversation that should be had as the only active business and property owner in the zone that you're considering, in the area of the zone you're considering, to be part of the conversation. And quite frankly, part of what Nina will mention in a very brief public comment is our position that the site should not be included in the rezoning proposal. That shouldn't be part of that public hearing. So one of the asks is, in addition to meeting with you and whomever would be willing to speak with us about our concerns, is to talk about amending the proposed zoning map to not include our site. One of the things we had prepared because we were trying to give some materials in writing is the presentation slides, which I can just hand to the mayor, to the clerk, or whomever. Most appropriate. Marcus.
Yeah, either Marcus or Cindy, because then they can get copies to the whole board. Yes. Mhm.
And it's very simple and basic visual to keep this simple as best we can. We've appeared before you and have sort of had ongoing tangential conversations, but our understanding over the past couple of years is that the village doesn't want to see the Certainty industrial site manufacturing plant gone, that you do want us here. We are part of the building blocks for the future of Buchanan. I think the problem is, and our fears were realized after we reviewed the language in the comp plan update, that's not what that says. That says things like our site may stay manufacturing in the near term, and it's in there. It says things like transitioning to a different use in the future. So it's unclear in some of this, and we can explain it further when we talk, because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah, and,
But-
and I know you're an attorney, Anthony, and I know how you guys go on and on, but, but thank you for this. And I know Nina wants to speak.
Did I hit 3 minutes?
You went way over. Okay, I'll give you 2 more minutes.
So I just want to be clear.
Fast. Yeah, because I'm not trying to cut him off, but there's going to be further discussions.
I know.
in
We're
the
trying to
future.
be part of this before it gets to that step. That's what we're trying to say. And I will cut it short. I understand. The threshold concern is that language in your comp plan. For those who don't participate in zoning every day like I do, don't know why I chose this life, the comp plan is the vision document for what you're going to do in the future. It's one document that's part of a collection of documents. That's what a comp plan is. It's not zoning. It's the planning. And when you put in there things that say that you don't want us here forever, or that it appear to us that you're pushing us out, because that's what it says, and we put the language in the document, and Nina will explain it as well, that concerns us significantly. And that's also contrary to what we thought the village was pursuing with this. So I'll try to cut it there, because I know I don't have a lot of time to speak, but I'm trying to keep it simple, and that we're asking for you to please communicate with us. Please ask your staff to understand that the vision that you're saying, which we thought was we were going to be here in perpetuity and part of the building blocks, for you to embrace us for the future, because that's not what the document says that you've circulated to agencies. And that's our concern. So if we can have a commitment to really talk and meet, if we can have a commitment to perhaps consider what we're asking of you, we would very much appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. Appreciate it. Nina, do you want a few words?
I'd love to. Thank you.
Sure.
Here's some materials that we prepared.
Got homework to do here.
We provided them in writing.
Good.
As requested. Thanks. So good evening. It's nice to see everybody again. I think the last time we saw you, we were all wearing hard hats. My name is Nina Peak. I'm a licensed AICP certified planner with more than 30 years of experience working in communities throughout the Hudson Valley. Our planning team, I'm the U.S. manager of SLR Consulting, and our group has been helping Certainty understand how the village's proposed zoning would impact their operation. As Anthony mentioned, the devil's in the details, obviously, but it's really important for the board to understand that the village's proposed comprehensive plan update and zoning district change would not allow Certainty to continue operating. Anthony discussed the first threshold issue, which is the problematic language in the comprehensive plan, which leads us to believe that the village isn't really committed to having this operation stay there long term. But what I'm going to talk about more is the zoning. So Anthony distributed this packet. As written, currently, the proposed base zoning of the Certainty parcel would not allow this use to continue operating. Right now, the property is zoned M2. As you can see in this figure that's in your packet, the proposal is to rezone the entire district to WD. WD doesn't allow the Certainty operation to continue. It would be a prohibited use. The overlay that the village proposes would create a special permit. The Certainty would have to apply to the village board of trustees for a special permit. The special permit comes with conditions attached to it. No one talked to Certainty about what those conditions would be, and a lot of them would be really problematic and would not allow Certainty to continue operating the way they are currently operating.
Nina, it's safe to say we're not looking to shut down Certainty. So,
I'm
but
glad to hear
these
you
are the
say that.
discussions that we're going to have going forward. We don't have with us tonight our planner, David Smith, which is an important, integral part of this whole discussion.
Totally understand it. Really appreciate that you said that, because the language in the documents, in the comprehensive plan update and the proposed zoning language say otherwise.
Okay.
So it's good to hear that the village board of trustees, including you, Mayor, don't intend for that to happen, because we would really very much like to continue to meet with you. We have a proposal The proposal is in your packet. The proposal simply asks, leave us out. There's plenty of other waterfront property that could be developed that would meet the goals. I met with Marcus, I met with Dave Smith to talk about this. I left that meeting confident that we could work something out that would be mutually beneficial, that would allow Certainty to continue operating as they have been, but also allow the village to meet their goals. We think leaving Certainty to operation as an M2 district will achieve that goal. But again, we'll continue to work with you. We very much would appreciate a meeting with us.
Can I just-
Yes, please.
Can I just interrupt just
Attorney
briefly?
would like to-
I've spoken with your attorney and said as soon as they declare lead agency, we would meet with you and Anthony, myself, David, and probably the mayor. So
I'll
I'd
let
just like to put
Anthony-
that on the record because we did offer that. We just said,
Yeah,
hey,
that's great.
we want to declare lead agency and you should submit your comments in writing like everybody else.
Yeah.
That was our position.
Understood. And Anthony. Yeah.
And we did, and we gave them to you, but sometimes things in writing get misunderstood. We're trying to appeal to you as people of the concern, and dates tend to get moved, and before you know it, a hearing set. And once a hearing set, anything can happen. And we're saying, as the only active business in that site that you're talking about, the sole property owner who plans to be here for without end, and embrace the community, that's what we're trying to get to. So if we wait too long, we don't know what's going to happen. And it's significantly concerning. I will sit down and shut up. I think Paul wanted to comment. Thank you.
Okay, well,
Thank you for having me. My name is Paul Weaver. I'm the plant manager. You guys have seen me a lot, and I appreciate you having us here. I love this plant. You know the significance of the plant, the company, how we fill the building community and the region. You've heard these numbers before, but it's not just tax revenue. It's 170 jobs on site. $20 million worth of employee earnings into the local community. Almost $50 million across the state, $150 million in sales in the village, and $234 million in New York alone. It's over 500 jobs because of our plant in New York State. This is all in that packet that Nina gave you. We continue to invest in our operations and our people, but I'm glad the mayor said that because we need confidence the village planning documents support that vision. We've been here 55 years. I want to be here for another 100.
Sorry, I'll be brief as well. Thank you for having me. Thanks for just giving me a few minutes to speak. Good to see some of you folks again. Last time we were in the plant when I seen you. I'm not a planner. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a plant manager right now. I am someone who came up through the ranks in Certainty in the plant. Spent half my life there. Plant's been there 55 years. I've been there half the time the plant has been there almost. What I want to talk about is the whole, right? And when I talk about the whole is our families. Because of this plan, seeing my kids walk across stage, putting my kids through college, standing in the archway of the new house I bought with my wife, because of this plan, because of little old Buchanan has this wonderful plan in this great state of New York, we're living that American dream. And it's not just me, right? My brothers, my cousins, my colleagues. I just want you to understand what you're proposing, unless we do something else, will have a severe impact on the future me's, the future families. Little old Buchanan has so much power of all of our families living this great big American dream. And that's what it's all about for workers like me. Thank you for your time.
thank you. And I respect what you're saying because
Lance Morgan, maintenance manager. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
a lot of us have lived the life of the closure of Indian Point. It was heartbreaking. I still don't get over that. 1,000 good jobs lost, good people, hardworking people. So I do understand what you're saying. Okay, any other comments from the floor?
Mayor, Bruce Major was supposed to be here,
Oh.
but his flight was canceled. I don't know if he can get on from the
somebody
attendance. He's in the meeting. I just don't know if there's a way for him to speak.
Oh, I can see that.
You can unmute yourself, you can speak.
Hi, I just got a message to unmute. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, Anthony? I can see you there, but I can't.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Apologies. I'm a little bit with you this evening, but my flight got cancelled, and there was just no way I was going to be able to make it in time to join you in person. So I do apologize for that. My name is Bruce Major. I'm the VP of Operations for CertainTeed's US Interior Products Group, which means we manufacture wallboard, insulation, ceilings products throughout the US. And I've worked in this business for 28 years, started in the UK, but there's actually an opportunity in Buchanan that brought me to the US in 2001. I was a plant manager 2001 to 2003, and I have an incredibly strong connection with the Buchanan plant. I was actually the last person to leave the site on 9/11 when we were asked to shut down by the sheriff, and I was the first person back there a few days later with the sheriff to take the padlock off the gates as we responded to a request to make a special run of 28 truckloads of board that would go into the city to put in temporary office accommodation for those trying to support the sort of rescue efforts down in the city at that time. We actually put a call out to all of our employees to ask for volunteers who might be able to come in and help us do that run. And we had 100% of the employees came in to start the plant back up again. And I'm very proud that if you go, when you went to the plant, you may have seen in the reception area of the office, there was a board from that run that has all of our signatures on there from that day. So I think I have a very strong personal connection with the Buchanan plant, but it's not just a connection for me. It's, I want to sort of reinforce why the Buchanan plant is so important for CertainTeed. I think Paul's given you quite a few of the numbers, and all those other numbers relate to the fact that New York is the biggest wallboard market in the US. Buchanan is the only operating wallboard facility in New York State. So we're incredibly proud that we are a New York-based company hiring New York workers to supply board into the biggest New York market to work with the contractors down there. Sorry, my microphone's just gone off for a second. Sorry about that. For us, our desire is we want to remain a key part of that New York construction business. We want to continue to hire the number of employees Paul mentioned, over 500 people, in good jobs locally as a result of us being there. And our real wish is, we ask of you, and it's great to hear you sort of confirm this tonight, is that we can just be a part of the discussion. We want to be there. We've been there for 55 years. We want to be there at least 55 years more, providing good employment and being a partner to the village of Buchanan. So it's very positive to hear your comments that you want us to be there. And, that the plan is as soon as you hear that you'll be the lead agency, you'll set up a meeting to speak with our team. And so I look forward to hopefully maybe being a part of that, but certainly our team being a part of that discussion. And I appreciate you letting me speak here tonight, and I apologize for not being with you and adding this complication to the end of your meeting. But thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak this evening?
Bill.
Hi, John Bell, 208 First Street. I'm here on behalf of the Buchanan Running Club. So I guess the first question is there going to be a Buchanan Day this year?
I've been trying to coordinate everybody, and I believe it's going to be September 21st because, between the fire department and, and everybody, but it's looking like September 21st, but I can get back to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
We would
I know
like
you guys like to combine the running
Yeah.
and that too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes it easier for the support people like the police and things like that. Everything's on one day. And then, for us, I think having a Buchanan Day last year kind of boosted our participation in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked out good.
What's that date? I'm sorry.
September 21st.
Okay, yeah, let me know, because we have to,
You gotta
get
yeah.
contracts in place for the timing company and all that things, kind of things like that.
And hopefully the shirts this year,
Yeah, well, we got a better plan for that this year.
hopefully. All right.
All right,
good.
great.
All right, John.
Thank you. And
Thank
I
you.
just want to thank Wilda. I had emailed her and she got back to me very quickly about it. And just appreciate your help on that.
You're welcome. I just pointed you that way.
Yeah, but you responded very fast and that was excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Anyone else? Any other comments? No? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss union negotiations, personnel, and negotiations in general. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and have a great Buchanan day. Thank you, everyone.